Oh, what's up, all my beautiful people of the creatosphere? How you doing today? I hope this video is finding you well. I am your host, Mr. Andrew J. Stillman, and today we are going to discuss some terms you might hear floating around in the writing community. Pantsers and plotters. Well, what in the heck is a pantser and who in the heck is a plotter? If you are asking yourselves those very questions, you are asking the right questions in the right place. So without further ado, let's get right on in. If you've ever heard of the term pantser, but all you can think of is someone who literally runs around pantsing people, you might have the definition of the actual word correct, but that's not how we use it here in the writing community. For us, a pantser is literally someone who just gets an idea, sits down, and writes it out. Some lightning struck idea just comes out of nowhere and they have to run straight to their computer to just start writing it out. These types of works are oftentimes approached with an I'll just see how far I can get with this kind of idea, and before you know it, you've got a full-fledged creative work on your hands. Plotters hate pantsers. Well, okay, maybe not so far as to use an abrasive term like hate, but plotters cannot just simply sit down and write a book. They need to know everything about the book before they even get started. Act summaries, chapter summaries, character lists, character backstories. Where are the characters from? What is their zodiac information? Every little bit of the story has to be decided before they even write out the first page. See, plotters don't always like pantsers because they lack the ability to just sit down and write. But on the flip side, pantsers don't always like plotters because they think that too much time is spent in the pre-production element. Spending too much time in the production side of things has you running the risk of running out of steam on this idea before you've even had a chance to really explore it. Diving straight in, however, has you running the risk of writing yourself into a corner because you have no idea where the story is going, and by the time you get to the end, you realize that you have no idea how it's supposed to end. A lot of writers, myself included, dabble with something of a little bit of a mixture of the two, of being a pantser and a plotter, and it is a combined term known as a plantser. Any Google search of any of these terms is going to land you on all sorts of articles all about what each one is, which one is better, even quizzes and stuff that you can take to decide which one is best for you or where you fit. You can also more than likely find out a few details about your favorite authors to see what their preferred method of novel writing is. If you're new to the game and you haven't even written your first book yet, these terms can be just a little bit intimidating. You might even find yourself going through something of an identity crisis, trying to figure out where you fit into this whole mess. But hold on a second. Don't trip out over something as minuscule as this. Trust me. If you're asking yourself which of these methods would be best for you, my first piece of advice is this. Choose for yourself. What works for one person might not work for another person and might not work for you. That's why we have all of these terms of separation in the first place. Your writing journey should always have you trying to develop your own voice in the first place, and figuring out how you approach writing your novels is one of the best ways to get that voice to start coming out of you. My other piece of advice is this. Let the book decide for you. Wait, what? The story has a mind of its own? Oh, young Padawan, how much you have to learn. Stories and characters always take on a life of their own. And that sentence, in and of itself, acts as a pro and a con for both being a pantser and a plotter. doesn't help all that much, does it? This is just why it's important to mess around and see whatever works best for you, because really there's going to be pros and cons with any method of novel writing you choose. So, what method do I think is best? Am I a pantser, a plotter, or a plancer? Wow, what a great question. Thank you so much for answering. Thing is, after 8 manuscripts written, I have no idea. I pantsed this one, I plotted this one, and I sort of lived this one because it's actually my New Zealand journal and I was just doing a bunch of cool stuff, so I had cool stuff to write about. I then plotted out my most recent novel, and I am currently pantsing the work in progress that I have going on right now. I have total pros and cons for all methods chosen, but that's really why I just advise for you to let the book decide for you, because honestly, that's just what I've done. And just to answer the question now, in case it comes up in the comments, no, none of those books that I just held up are available for sale. When I finish manuscripts, I usually like to order myself proof copies because I like to hold the physical manuscript while I edit. If you don't know how to order yourself a proof copy, don't worry. I'm gonna make a video about it. It's gonna come out soon, and it'll be a tutorial so that you know how you can get your hands on a physical copy of a book that you wrote. Trust me, even if you do it for yourself, it's a pretty unbeatable feeling. As for today, I think that's all I've got on this whole never-ending debate between being a pantser or a plotter, or any in-between that really works for you. But really, let's take away these labels for a minute. Anything you do that takes your story from your brain out onto your computer screen, or typewriter paper if you're old school, is good enough. So go forth and write. Just don't pants anybody for real in the meantime. See you next week!